The Street Files. A complete mystery short story. Every Wednesday. File 26. The Death of a Difficult Man. The rain has started to fall over Oxford as Olivia Street drives away from her parents' house on Canterbury Road, with Poppy in the passenger seat next to her, and grey clouds hang above their heads as the red MG Midget makes its way through the roads of the city and onto the M40 motorway. Olivia needs petrol, so she indicates into the Tetsworth services, pulls into the car park and stops near a dark grey Range Rover. They run across to the glass and steel building, and the doors slide silently apart as they approach. The place has few customers at this time of night. Olivia orders coffees while Poppy buys pizza. They decide to eat at one of the many round tables scattered between the 8 food outlets laid out in a circle. As they're eating, a dark-haired man in his 40s and wearing a business suit is escorted through the sliding doors by 2 police officers. Once out of the rain, the man turns to the officers and is animatedly talking to them. As the conversation gets louder, Olivia and Poppy can make out the words that he is saying. "You're overstepping your authority. I'm a member of the British Parliament. I demand to speak to your commanding officer." The reply from one of the police is quieter, and Olivia and Poppy can't hear it. "I need to talk to my lawyer in that case," they hear the man say. And he walks over to the seating, 20 feet from where they're sitting. One of the police officers hurries back out into the night, while the other waits by the doors for the man to make his call. "It's Richard Marle. Is he there, Catherine?" The man waits for someone to be brought to the phone. "Bill, I need you. The police are being overzealous." "Yeah, I'm in a service area on the M40. He listens. "Can you get here?" He is getting visibly angry. "Bill, look, I pay you to... Look, there are... It's not good enough, Bill." He briskly ends the call, and Olivia and Poppy exchange a glance. Olivia stands up and walks over to him. "Excuse me," she says, and he frowns at her. "Your words carried across the room. I couldn't help hearing that you were trying to get hold of your lawyer and that he can't make it." "It was a private call, madam," he says. "I'd advise you to not pry into other people's personal conversations." He holds her gaze, hoping for an apology. "I'm a criminal lawyer," she says. "If you need legal advice, I could have helped, but no matter." She turns away. "Wait a minute," he says, and she stops and turns back to him. "What's your experience?" "Law at Cambridge," she begins. "Chambers in Lincoln's Inn. Corporate law in the City of London. A master's at King's College in analytical toxicology. Then the California bar exam. I practiced in that state for 4 years before returning to Europe to become a freelance investigative lawyer." She hands him her business card. "My rates are on the back." He flips the card over and reads it. "All right," he says. "Can I hire you?" "I'll consider this to be a verbal binding agreement," says Olivia. "Shall we go and sit and talk?" "Come with me for a second," he says. He leads her to the police officer, who has been waiting. "This is my lawyer, Olivia Street. You can deal with her." He smiles at the policeman. "Shall we go and sit over there?" She indicates the seating near Poppy. When they reach the girl, Olivia says, "This is my daughter. She's a law student." Through the windows they can see blue flashing lights in the darkness. They settle in the chairs, and he begins. "You've probably heard of me. I'm Richard Marle, MP for South Warwickshire." He looks expectant. "Right," she says, sidestepping the point. "How can we help you, Mr. Marle?" "I'm on my way back to my flat in Westminster. I've been in the constituency for the weekend." and I had a meeting here at the service area.
Is that unusual? She says. To meet here?
Not that uncommon. My diary's back-to-back, so any opportunity for a discussion has to be shoehorned in. And there's an access road directly into this service area for deliveries, so people don't have to go on the motorway to get here.
And who are you meeting?
A man called Alistair Creed. He's a political advisor. He lives locally, so it made sense for me to meet him here.
Go on.
I arrived about 9, says Richard. Alistair was due here at 9:30, so I had 30 minutes to kill. I read some papers about next week's business in Parliament. I sat in my car in the car park.
The grey Range Rover,
says Poppy.
Richard pulls his eyebrows together at her knowledge, and he nods slightly.
We parked next to it, she says. 20 minutes later, continues Marl, a police car arrived. I watched them through the rain. They came inside and they re-emerged with a man from one of the food outlets here, who led them around the back of the building. Alistair hadn't arrived, and after, I suppose, another 10 minutes, one of the police walked over to my car and tapped on the window. He knew that I was due to meet Alistair, and asked me about him.
What did he ask? Says Olivia.
Were we meeting? Had I seen him? What was the last thing we messaged each other? General stuff, says Richard.
Okay, what then?
He asked me to accompany him inside, as he needed to ask some more questions. We walked over to the doors, and he was a bit vague. And in the end, I said I was leaving, and that he could contact my assistant at the House of Commons if he needed more. I walked off, they followed me, and threatened to arrest me. We came inside to get away from the rain. I raised my voice to them, and that's when you heard me and walked over.
And they haven't said why they might arrest you?
He shakes his head.
Then that's our first task, says Olivia. Stay here, Mr. Marl. Poppy, come with me.
Hang on a sec, he says, and they turn back to him. My daughter's in the car. Could you get her in?
Can you, Poppy?
Says Olivia.
What's her name?
Cassie. She was 19 yesterday.
The police officer is standing near the doors, and Olivia approaches him, while Poppy slips outside. Officer, what's your name?
P.C. Hale, madam.
Has Mr. Marl confirmed to you I am his lawyer? You threatened to arrest him. Can you tell me the charges?
Suspicion of murder, madam, says Hale.
And the victim?
A Mr. Alistair Creed. They had arranged to meet here.
Where's the body?
Around the back by the bins. My colleague is isolating the scene.
What's your evidence against my client?
They're closely associated. Marl arranged to meet Mr. Creed here in an isolated location.
Circumstantial, then. Have you identified a motive? She says.
We're going to arrest him on suspicion, Miss Street, to give our detectives the opportunity to collect evidence.
But he hasn't been arrested yet, she says.
He wanted to talk to you first. We'll arrest him in a minute.
Can I see the crime scene?
He nods. PC Cross is out there with forensics. Along the front of the building, down the side, then it's by the delivery doors. Olivia pulls the hood up on her raincoat and steps out into the night. When Poppy arrives at the grey Range Rover, Richard Marl's daughter is asleep on the back seat, but is suddenly awake when Poppy knocks on the glass. Cassie only opens the top of the window by a few centimetres, so she can hear. My mum's a lawyer, and she's representing your dad inside the shops over there. He wanted me to bring you in, as it could take a while. What's happened? Says the girl. Something to do with the police. What? I don't know. Are you coming? Because I'm getting soaked. If you don't want to come, I'll tell your dad. Cassie pauses to think. Then the doors unlock. Get in. Poppy pulls the door handle and slides onto the back seat. Cassie has dark brown eyes, round wire glasses, and brunette hair worn loose. Don't you want to come in? Says Poppy. I'm all right here. He might be in trouble, she says. What sort of trouble? They threatened to arrest him. He was meeting some bloke. Alistair Creed. Alistair Creep, I call him. Why? Says Poppy, looking at the girl.
People like that,
says Cassie.
Have you read The Prince by Machiavelli?
No, what's it about?
The advisors and hangers-on around important people have to work the system and be underhand to get anywhere.
Alistair Creed is like that, is he?
Always scheming,
says Cassie.
What were they meeting about? Alistair wants to get his girlfriend a job working for Dad. She's got no experience, Dad says. But Alistair's going full steam ahead to get his darling Dinah a job in Westminster. He never shuts up about it. How do you know all that? Dad had a call with Alistair on the way down here after we left home. He put it on speaker. I heard everything. So, you coming in, or what? Yeah.
The girls step out into the rain and run across the shops. As Olivia turns the last corner around the building, she sees 2 arc lamps that have been set up by the forensics team. A police officer is standing and watching them at work. She has blonde hair in a ponytail and green eyes.
Are you PC Cross? I'm representing Richard Marle. Have they found anything?
Says Olivia.
2 abdominal stab wounds,
says Cross.
Nasty, violent. And the attacker left the knife inside him.
Have they isolated the weapon? Cross points to the forensics officer's metal case, where there's a steel knife in a sample bag on the top. Olivia leans over to look at the knife more closely, then turns back to the policewoman.
You've ID'd the victim?
Cross holds up a driving licence in another plastic bag.
Alistair James Creed. Lives 10 minutes away as the crow flies, but half an hour by road because you have to go down to the next junction.
He may have driven via the delivery road to get here.
That's trespass. Those roads are private.
Are there any cameras around here?
One there.
Cross points to a plastic cover up on the guttering of the building.
It's run by the food outlets for their deliveries. There's another big CCTV system that covers the car park and the inside of the shopping area. We checked the car park tapes. Your client's Range Rover got here at 8:52.
Have you seen the footage from this camera here? Says Olivia, pointing upwards. And Cross shakes her head. I can go and ask at the food outlets. Maybe that's some more evidence.
We'll have to accompany you to do that. Will you come with me then, or shall I ask your colleague? He can do it.
When Olivia arrives back inside the building, PC Hale has found a lockable office to put Richard Marle in while they wait on the forensics. Then Olivia and Hale go in search of the shop's CCTV recordings. There's only one food outlet still open now, and the man behind the counter is about 30, with short fair hair and watery blue eyes.
There's a CCTV camera along the back of the building, says Olivia. Have you got access to the recordings?
Yeah, all the shops have. We need to see it, sir, says Hale.
Is this about the dead guy?
Says the man.
I found him, you know. What's your name?
Jack Wilson.
Can you show us the recordings, Mr. Wilson?
She says. He opens a low gate to let them in behind the counter. The CCTV recordings are on a computer system that is in a storeroom on the left-hand side. The place has wooden shelving with storage for dry foods and consumable ephemera from the fast food outlet. The recording unit is bolted to the wall at the end. It has a screen and a vertical keyboard underneath. Jack types and the display changes to a row of small video stills, one for each hour of the last 24.
Just click on the video and it plays. The time code is above each one. 6 till 7 is that one, 7 till 8 is the next one. I'll leave it to you.
He starts to walk out.
Mr. Wilson,
says Olivia, quickly.
Did you see anything?
He shakes his head. I was serving out there. PC Hale starts to watch the 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. video on the screen.
The man didn't come inside to get food from you then,
says Olivia to Jack.
No. You know what he looked like?
She says. And suddenly Jack's eyes seem concerned.
Yeah, actually, he did buy something.
What time was that? She says.
We could check the till roll, if you've forgotten. If he paid with a card, his name will be on it there.
He paid cash.
So, can you show me the till roll with a cash payment on it? Jack is reluctant, she can tell, but he moves back to the counter and rings up the till roll. He hits a button and the machine spews out a long print of all the transactions from Jack's shift. Olivia waits for the print to end, then takes the 4 feet of paper and rolls it up as she walks back to the storage room. "Anything, Constable?" she says. "I'm at 10 to 9, nothing yet. The meeting was planned for 9:30. As she waits, Olivia goes through the till roll for the transactions at the same time as the video. "There's something," says Hale, and he hits the pause button. They both squint at the frozen image of 2 shadowy figures near the place where Alistair's body now lies. "Play it a bit more, would you?" she says, and he hits the button again. There's insufficient light to see the faces, but the people on the video start to argue, then grab each other. There's an arm from the attacker that is brought down heavily, and Alistair Creed staggers against the wall. He grasps for the bricks before falling to the ground. The attacker turns away and runs off around the corner. "What's that time code?" says Olivia. 9:11. Olivia looks at the till roll and sighs. Nothing here for a cash purchase between 8:45 and 9:11. Her eyes flick across the names from the customer's credit cards. Then she sees the name Richard Marle, who bought something at 9:04 p.m. PC Hale takes the DVD from the machine to give to his inspector. Then they both walk back out. There are 2 customers and Jack is serving them. He's cutting up food with a steel knife. "How many of those knives are there, Mr. Wilson?" 6, he says. "All properly managed." He points to a locked glass container where there are 4 knives on the shelf in especially marked places. "There's one missing," says Olivia. Jack looks at the cabinet. "Oh yeah, that's been missing for ages." After she walks back out to the concourse, she sees Poppy sitting with Richard's daughter, and Olivia walks over to them. "This is Cassie," says Poppy. "This is my mum." "Can I ask you something, Cassie?" says Olivia. "Did your father stay in the car after you arrived here tonight? Or did he get out?" "I was asleep, I don't know. Tell Mum what you were saying about Alistair Creed. Only that he's creepy, always sleazing around," says Cassie. "Sleazy around you?" "I can handle myself. No, I meant Dad. Dad believes everything he says. But it's all smoke and mirrors. I know about politics. It's my undergrad at LSE. He was always trying to get Dad to do things for him." They all notice the entrance doors slide apart, and a harassed-looking blonde woman hurries in. "That's the lovely Diana," says Cassie. "Alistair's girlfriend." "I'll go and talk to her," says Olivia, and she walks over. "Are you Diana?" "Yes, who are you?" "I'm Olivia. I'm a lawyer. I work for Richard Marle. Can we chat for a second?" The woman nods, and they sit at one of the tables that is out of earshot of anyone else. "You're Alistair Creed's girlfriend?" "Mm-hmm." She smiles. "He was meeting Richard tonight. Do you know anything about that?" The woman sighs. "We argued earlier when he was on his way out here. Alistair always wants me to work for your boss, Richard, but I'm not interested. He wouldn't stop going on about it, and I suddenly lost my temper tonight. I told him plainly I wasn't going to do the job even if he could sort one out. I'm more a local politics type, organising canvassers, printing posters, getting local issues sorted, you know." "Why did you come out here tonight?" says Olivia. "After he left home, I thought we'd miscommunicated. I wanted to talk to him and called him, but he didn't answer. I left a few messages, but it's not like him not to reply." "Did you know he was meeting Richard here?" The woman looks embarrassed, and her eyes flick to the table. I put a tracking app on his phone a few months ago, when I thought he was seeing someone else.
And was he?
I didn't use it in the end. I watched it a few times when he said he was going out. And he was obviously lying to me. But I didn't say anything to him because I thought I was being banal.
But you did use the app tonight?
Yes. It says he's here somewhere.
Will you excuse me for a moment? Says Olivia.
Stay here, if you would.
She walks to the police. PC Cross is back in from outside, and the policewoman agrees to break the news of Alistair's death to Diana, who cries for 5 minutes after that. I'd like to talk to my client, Constable, says Olivia to PC Hale, and he lets her into the locked office. When you arrived here at the services, Olivia begins, as she sits down across the table from Richard. Did you stay in your car? I stretched my legs, walked around the car park. In the rain? She says. I've got an umbrella. He looks incredulous. You bought pizza or coffee from inside? No, I didn't go inside. Can I ask you to reconsider that answer? She says. What do you mean, I didn't go inside? Olivia has the till roll in her hand and looks through it until she reaches the sale made with Miles' credit card at 9:04 p.m. Then she turns it around and shows him. This evidence says otherwise. His face pulls together. I can't explain that. I need to ask you, she says. Were you involved with the death of Alistair Creed? Of course not. Look, if you're not up to the job, I can find another lawyer. That is your choice, of course, but there's evidence that says your card was used at a food outlet within a few minutes of the attack. We have a CCTV video of the attack now. Any other lawyer would be faced with the same facts that I am. If you know something, then you must say. I can't represent you with an innocent plea if you're guilty. It's Cassie, he says. My card was in my wallet in the car, and she was in the car. Okay, I'll ask her about it, says Olivia. One last thing for now. Did you see anything unusual on your walk around the car park when you got here? Vehicles or people hanging around? No, I wanted to walk all the way around, but there was a car in the way, parked up. It had come in from the access road and was blocking my route. What kind of car? MX-5. I'm a car buff, so I noticed it. Nice example, blue metallic paintwork. After her tears, Alistair's girlfriend, Diana, wants a coffee and walks to the food outlet. Poppy takes the opportunity to go and talk to the woman. Sorry about your boyfriend, she says. I'm Olivia's daughter, the blonde lawyer. She nods over to her mother, who is talking to the 2 police officers by the main doors. How are you feeling? Lost, says Diana. What was he like? Difficult. Poppy waits to let the woman find her own words. Unfaithful, argumentative, egotistical. This wasn't a random murder. Why do you say that? He rubbed everyone up the wrong way, like it was his purpose on earth to piss people off. He thought that's what people respected in politics. A strong opinion is everything, he used to say to me. Well, he actually used to shout it at me. Every week, it seemed like. Do you think he was killed because he was a difficult man? I wanted to kill him half the time myself, says Diana. He wouldn't shut up once he got a bee in his bonnet about something or other. Cassie is sitting on her own on the seating, and she's scrolling her phone when Olivia walks over to her and sits down on the opposite seat. You bought food earlier on from the pizza shop over there. Cassie is silent, but she flicks her eyes up to Olivia. You used your father's card. I just checked the CCTV from the main system, and there you are, at 9:04, this evening.
And?
You ordered something that the man who runs the shop had to collect from the back storeroom because he'd run out on the counter? Cassie's eyes are fixed, straight ahead now. Tell me what the tape shows you doing while the man is in the storeroom, Cassie. Olivia waits for the girl to think about lying. I'll tell you then. It shows you taking one of the knives from the cabinet, which he had left unlocked in error, as he'd just taken one out to use. You took the knife and put it up your sleeve just before he came back out. The girl's face shows no emotion. You said earlier that Alistair was sleazy with your dad. Was it actually the case that he was sleazy with you, and you had to shut him up? Cassie is a rabbit caught in headlights, and she sits without words, in utter stillness. It's better to talk now, because I can put a defense together for you, and mitigate any punishment.
It wasn't me.
Her voice is small when she finally talks. And who was it?
Alistair did try it on with me, but I told him where to go. Then I met Diana, his girlfriend, when we were both waiting outside my dad's office in the House of Commons. When Diana said who she was, I told her straight that Alistair was a sleazeball. She knew already. Not about me, but him in general.
Did you take the knife and give it to Diana? Cassie nods.
We swapped numbers that day we met, and we kept in touch. She was getting more and more frustrated with him. Then she found out that Dad and Alistair were meeting tonight, here. She knows this place. They only live down the road, and they come here for petrol, via the access road. She knew the pizza place had knives. She paid me 500 quid to steal one, and hand it over to her. She was waiting out the back in her sports car.
Which is a blue MX-5, is it?
Yeah.
Olivia asks the girl to wait while she talks to the police. An hour later, Olivia is standing in the doorway of the service area and looking out at the rain as PC Hale walks off into the night. Poppy comes out of the sliding doors.
Did he just tell you what happened?
She says. Diana had driven home and they went to arrest her on suspicion. At first she denied everything. Then she tried to blame Cassie for the whole plan.
They didn't believe that, surely.
When I'd told the police all of our evidence, I'd stressed that it was Diana who had motive. Cassie didn't. Yes, she was too easily convinced to help with a bribe, but Diana had grown to hate Alistair over the years.
She could have walked away.
Sadly, you're right, Poppy, but I've seen too many cases where that doesn't happen soon enough. Richard Marle walks out and stands next to them. He takes a large sigh. I called the Thames Valley Police Chief Constable, he says. He's agreed to release Cassie on bail, on condition that I bring her in to talk to the detectives in Oxford next week. She can at least come down to my London flat with me tonight. Olivia looks at him. You'll represent her, Miss Street? He says. At the first stage in the magistrate's court, yes. Then I'll put a defence briefing together for a barrister when it goes to Crown Court. What will she get? He says. She's over 18, so an adult according to the law. If the barrister can demonstrate that she was coerced by Diana, then a reduced sentence, but Cassie will probably spend some time behind bars, possibly in open prison after a year. Richard looks serious. I'll see you back in London, he says, and walks out into the rain, where Cassie is sitting in his Range Rover, in the car park.
This case was sad for all sorts of reasons,
says Poppy.
I just want to go home now, Mum.
They run across to the car and scramble inside. Then the tail lights of the red MG midget disappear into the rain and the night as they head for home. The Street Files, a complete mystery short story, every Wednesday.